Okay, let's talk about tasks today, or scheduled tasks. Tasks are a way to run a thing, a skill, a task. It's a way to do something with AI. I'm in Claude Cowork in this case, although OpenAI's ChatGPT has some similar features. They may be under the Pulse section, Pulse it's called, but for now we'll use Claude to look into these. So I'm in the desktop app. I'm not in chat. It has to be in the Cowork because Cowork is the one that runs things like this. Some of the more advanced features are in Cowork. In the left column, you can see scheduled is the section I'm in. You could run tasks and then create a schedule from there, but schedule is where you're going to want to go to look at these and to work with these. So from there, as you can see, it says run tasks on a schedule, or whenever you need them. You can run them manually or on a schedule, daily, weekly, monthly at a certain time. And you can even turn a task after you run it into a scheduled task, either by typing /schedule in the task. So if you ran something here in tasks, you can then turn it into that. And you can, AI is generally smart, so you can type /schedule. You can probably also tell it in plain English, turn this into a scheduled task, and it will do that for you that way too, as we'll see in a few minutes. So here's a few that I have. I have them running daily in this case, but again, they can run on whatever schedule you want. And to run, you can see up here, they will only run when your computer's awake. So if you have it scheduled for 7 a.m. and your computer's sleeping, it will not work. And so you have to turn on keep awake here. And you may have to make sure that your local computer settings don't put your computer to sleep when you're not using it, because it just won't run. So you have to make sure that both this setting is keep awake and your computer settings are for keeping awake. So let's create a scheduled task. So number one, you can always start from here, a new task, and you can say, update me on my daily schedule. And if I do that, it'll run a task, right? It will then just update me on my schedule. It'll could check my email, could check my calendar, and we'll do that thing. Here's the task version of that. So you can run it just manually, but you can also say, here in a task, check my Google Calendar, unread emails, start emails, and all emails for the last 24 hours, and let me know what important happened yesterday and what's happening today. And I can even run that now by clicking this run button. And so if I were going to do a new task, I could click this button up here and I could name it, right? Daily update. I could describe it as my daily update. I could then add a description here. I could have it work in a project if I wanted to be connected to other data. I can have it ask permission or act without asking. To the point before of a schedule, it can be manual when you click it, or it can be hourly, or it can be daily at a certain time. And you can even pick the model you want to use in these cases. And once you have a task, so let's look at this one more time, and let's click, so number one, I could run now if I want to. I can also delete it here, and I can click edit. So in here, I have my name, description, and then this is what it's actually going to do. So you can see this other one's a better example because it's much more detailed. Here, this one I wrote myself. I just typed this out myself. But if you ask it to create a scheduled task, it can do these really detailed steps that will call MCPs, which is connections to other software, may use your browser, may run scripts. It can do a lot of other things, and it will run much more detailed instructions like these instructions here. So they can get really powerful, and it's often better at writing these things than I am. So if I went back to this one, which just does this, it works fine. This one works really well because it's really specific prompting. It's really specific instructions. So you can also share tasks. If you ever have someone who has a task that you like, you can ask them for their instructions. And then you can create the task, name it whatever you want, do whatever description, and then paste in their instructions here. So if I give you a file, you can just paste in the instructions right in this spot and then click save to run it. But you can also create your own. As I said before, you can go to tasks, have it run something, create one from that, or you can, in the schedule task, create it that way also. So let's create one quickly. So let's do create a daily update on my schedule based on my calendar. And let's see what it does. So as I said before, it's pretty smart. You don't have to do /schedule in many cases. You can just speak it in plain English, I said create a daily update. I think this will probably work. If it doesn't, we can always, after it does the thing, then tell it to turn that into a scheduled task. But I think this probably will work in this case. We'll give it a second though to make sure. And you'll see it will load some tools here. You can see what it's doing if you ever want to follow along. And there you go. When should the daily update be delivered? Let's say 8 a.m. What should the update cover? Let's say today only. How much detail per event? So it's asking all the good questions, and then it will then write a really detailed prompt based on this. Let's do standard, this one. So now it has what it needs, and now it will, you can see it keeps working, and it's going to create this. It's running the skill to create it, the schedule skill. It's loading the tools it needs. You can see there it is, creating a scheduled task right here. It's doing all the work, and it will finish, and then it will appear in our schedule in just a minute. There you go. Here's all the detail on it. I'll click schedule, and that's it. That will now be, if I click on this, it will take me there. Here's the daily calendar update. Let me go back to where I just created it a second ago, just so you can see it. Let's go back to my tasks here. So here are my tasks, and here you can see, so done. Your daily calendar update is scheduled to run every morning at 8 a.m. local time. Each run will pull today's. So it says what it will do. This is a good tip. This is important. This is what I wanted to show you is you need to hit run now on the task right now to make sure that you approve everything. Otherwise, when it runs the first time, it will pause often because it needs permission. So I go to scheduled now and I go to daily calendar update, and it will give you a warning in this case of when it's running. But if I click there, and you can change the time if you need to, you can click run now, and it will now run, and it will ask for the permissions while it's running now instead of later. So then you can give it the permission now, and then it will have those permissions permanently to always run going forward. So it'll run right now, and it'll give me back my schedule. So that's it. It's all pretty straightforward, but it's a really great way to set up daily things that you need done. They overlap a lot with also skills, obviously, because the ones that are manual are very similar to just running a skill. So as we've talked about before, a lot of the terminology, a lot of the features overlap in some of these new AI tools, but it's a really great way to do a daily summary, have it check your email for certain things and file things in your folder system. A lot of things that have to happen every day, every week, every hour. It's a good trigger for that. So just keep that in mind, that it's a really good way to have these repeat tasks done for you. It's also a good way to trigger something where it needs to check if something has happened. So if you're waiting for an email from someone for a certain purpose, every Monday you get a certain email at a time that has your bookkeeping update, something that happens every Monday just for whatever reason, you can use this because it can check every hour for that thing. And then when it happens, when it finds it in your email, it can take certain actions. So it's a good way to set up any sort of task on a schedule. So try it out, and it should be really powerful.